Good morning, everybody. I promised you I would share some technical secrets with you and some proprietary information. So we're going to talk about key letting. And key letting is something that very, very few technicians do. Very few even want to do them. Even more fewer probably know how to do them. So I'm going to get into some really advanced techniques here and make it as simplified as possible for you. In this particular case, I've installed Turbo Whippins, as you know, many of you by now, that I make my own. As you can see here, this is absolutely not a requirement for key letting, obviously, but I want to tell you that I believe that most companies, actually all of them, pretty much do this. They either have the same letting all the way across, the same gram weight, or the base they have for heavier weight, and then the treble gets lighter as it goes up. To me, this makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to tell you why. You already have more inertia and more force required to get the hammer moving in a bass hammer than you do in a treble hammer. So you have to really understand inertia to understand key letting, or you could just follow the steps. But let me just tell you, that even in outer space, if you feel that you don't have any gravity, if you take a ball and you throw it at somebody, they're going to feel the force or the weight of that ball. The weight's going to be more like an illusion, but inertia is the force that is required to get an object to even move. So even if you have, let's say, all of these set at 50 grams, 52 or whatever they consider the standard now, the base section is going to feel heavier than the treble section, even though they're weighed exactly the same. Now, why is that? Well, it's going to require more force to get the object of the hammer to move. Not just the hammer, but you're also going to have more leads in here. So all of this equals getting this thing to move. Okay, kind of like pushing a buggy in a grocery store. Okay, even though it's on wheels, you feel the force of it. The heavier the buggy is, the more force it takes to even get the thing to move. It's similar to that. With all of this said, I want to tell you that I set my keys opposite of how the rest of the factories in the world tend to do this. I actually want my bass lighter and I want my treble heavier. And here's why. You already have an inertia problem of keys not feeling the same going from left to right. So you have bigger hammers, heavier hammers. Why do I want to exacerbate the problem by making the base even heavier, as you already have heavier hammers? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set 1 through 30 to 49 grams. So over here, and I have a marker here, 49 grams is, let's start over. 1 through 29, 48 grams. 30 through 58, it's going to be 49 grams. 59 through 88 is going to be 50 grams. Now again, the reasons why I do this. The action is already going to feel really light at the top end. I play arpeggios really fast, and I can feel the gradient difference very quickly when I come back down with arpeggios. I found that the more even that the keyboard feels, the more accurate my playing is. This should make sense to people. Hopefully it does. So I actually make the key letting heavier in the treble to counteract the really light hammers, and I make the key letting lighter in the bass to counteract the heavier hammers. Is this making sense to you? Okay, the other thing with the numbers, notice something. I designed and I sell concert grand instruments, and I'm a professional player on stage. And I'm going to tell you, after doing a 3-hour concert on a heavy action, you get tired. So as I told Dino Kartsanok, I said, look, my action is lighter. And when he first played on it, he said, okay, this is just a little bit on the light side. I said, Dino, trust me, I'm not going to touch it for you. I says, by the end of the concert, you're going to love it. I went up to him after the end of the concert, and I says, okay, Dino, how's the action? No, he was like he was stopping a freight train. No, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's perfect. It's perfect. And that's because as you get tired, you really feel the weight. You really feel the weight of the action. I really firmly believe as a professional player that almost every action is too heavy, that they're leaded too heavy in grands for players. When you have it a little bit lighter, you have more control. You can feel the piano better. And as you get used to this, and when you go back to heavier action, you get to where you hate them. You really, really do. So let's look at our first steps here. Let's say we just forget the turbo whippings. Those are done. Those are perfectly set up. Now you have to understand that this action needs to be regulated well before you even start this process. Your hammers have to be at a reasonable height. Things have to be working pretty good. I want to say something here. Have your action well ready, well cleaned. Do not lubricate the action at this point, because if you do, and you go ahead and lead these keys, as the lubrication wears off, you're going to miss your target. It's better after you lubricate for your action to feel lighter and to get right back to where you want again, because the lubrications, as some of you well know, they do not stay. I don't care if you're using Sail Coat, which is supposed to last 2 years according to their factory. A piano, that does not happen. As you could see, it already removed 2 leads per key thanks to these turbo whippings. The bottom one's actually set to 40 grams. Okay, if you were to remove this and you put a gauge on here, it would measure 40 grams. I know in my other video I said 30. That was to simplify it, because I actually do some things a little bit different. I mean, I show you everything, but I don't show you everything because it can make things confusing. So, first step, I want to make sure that my 48 gram weight here, remember from 1 to 29 is going to 48 grams. I want to make absolute sure that the weight is not going to trip. So anything that this weight trips, more lead has to come out. That is absolutely the first step. As I already told you, I already took out 2 leads per key. And as you could see, that's not enough. So you could see already how much inertia these turbo whippings are saving me. I'm getting ready to take out a 3rd lead. Now look at this, imagine that. Imagine that, an action with only a couple leads in it per key in the bass section. How much lighter, how much faster, how much easier it's going to feel, even with the same amount of weight. So these are still all going down. And when I do run across one that doesn't, I'm going to mark it so that I know we are not going to take lead out of that key, that it's already close. And then whenever we do add a lead to it later, to figure this all out. So actually this one's about perfect where it is. It's going down nice and slow. Yeah, so this one, for instance, I'm going to X out with a pencil. We're not going to remove lead from that key. This is a very lengthy process. I want to really get this across to you. This takes days to really do this right and to make the necessary. We're gonna put plugs in this and everything else. There's another one that didn't go down, and we're gonna make our plugs out of real sugar pine, so that they match. They match the weights well. I have a lot of things I'm going to show you with this. So we're going to conclude this as part 1 because I don't want the video too long, or you're going to get bored and you're not going to watch it. Okay, bye for now.